there. Welcome, civilians. You've arrived at the home of civilized and thought-provoking commentary. Get ready for elevation, growth, and experience. I am the civilized woman.
Hello, civilians. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome back to another one. Today, we're going to be discussing the beautiful people you see on our screen. That is one of our former first ladies and former presidents, Michelle and Barack Obama. Now, my take on this may be unpopular, may be considered unpopular, but because I ain't never scared, here I go, right? I'm looking forward to hearing what y'all have to say about this, but I think it's necessary to talk about. I just wanted to give my spin on it. It kind of when everything happened, I just kept playing it in my mind. So I want to talk about it. So thank y'all for tuning in. Without further ado, let's get into it. So y'all know that we had inauguration on Monday. Also was MLK Day, MLK Junior Day. Regardless of what your thoughts are about, the incoming regime or the now, returning regime. First of all, I just want y'all to be encouraged. Your hope should not be in any government, regardless of which side or the aisle you fall on. But your hope should always be, if you're a person of faith, your hope should be in, the true God that you believe in, and know that all will be well. It may not be easy, but it will be well. And just be encouraged and take heart. So I'll just say that. So with that being said, there are, even after presidents leave office, there are obligatory things that they go to. I think not only is it just courteous or duties as being former presidents, it helps to see the country united when we see all these different leaders, regardless of what side of the aisle they're from, as long as they're living and they're well, to see them together, because it just gives that at the end of the day, we are all Americans and we all are hoping for the best for the country, right? So, unfortunately, former President Jimmy Carter passed away, and his burial was a few days or so before the inauguration. And as such, typically when we see our former presidents, their first ladies are usually with them. Our former first ladies are usually with them at these events. So with President Carter's funeral, First Lady Michelle Obama was not there. Out of all the presidents that attended, including her husband, she was the only First Lady that was not there. And there were talks about, Michelle is the only one that's keeping it real because she don't really like, President Trump, so why would she go there and fake the funk, right? And then the inauguration happened, and yet again, her husband was the only husband there, former president, who did not have his wife by his side. And that was still the thought of, she was keeping it real. If I'm not mistaken, it was said that she had prior obligations. Something like the inauguration is always on the 20th. Like, that date never changes. It is always on the 20th of January. So in advance when that is going to be. And if your husband is going to be there, in my opinion, you need to be there. These are people who get a plethora of opportunities and of engagements. People pay a lot of money to see them speak or whatever, and I'm sure that they have a team that writes contracts well enough that if a presidential obligation comes up, that they're able to kind of work their way out of it. So I'm not going to lie to y'all. When I didn't really watch the inauguration like that, I kind of was in and out of it because, just other stuff going on. But when I saw the scene where they were announcing all the other presidents and the first ladies, their spouses, our former first ladies, and to see them call Barack's name, President Obama's name, and they just called his name, and he was the only one that walked out there without his first lady on his arm. I felt away. I really felt away, and the first thing that I thought was, surely she cannot dislike or hate Trump more than she loves her husband. I I don't think that is possible. Like, what really is going on? One of the things that I respected and appreciated about our first lady, our former first lady Michelle Obama, is I always felt her to be capable. I always felt like almost as if we had two presidents when the Obamas were in the office. I felt like they could divide and conquer. If for whatever reason, President Obama could not be somewhere, or if he had, like, he couldn't be in two places at once, obviously, but if we had like key allies or whatever that we needed to tend to, or if there was a matter of meeting with an ally versus addressing an adversary, I felt like Michelle could go and stand in his place, and we would be well represented. And so it really disheartened me to see that, knowing the so many times, and I understand the sacrifice that she had to make in order for him to even be able to run and do this. There's no way he would have been able to make it to this office without her sacrifice, because she's in her own right is a very capable woman, and really, if she ever wanted to run for president, she could do so. And so seeing that really didn't sit well in my spirit. And then we started to hear about these rumors that they're separated, and they may be going through a divorce. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not putting any credence into that, but hearing that, it does not set a good precedent. What President Obama represented, he wasn't just another president. He represented the first. He has gone down in history as being the first African American president. And with her being his wife, that means she is a black American woman, is the first black first lady in this nation. And for a nation that has such a history, when it as it pertains to race, it's a very delicate thing, and it was something that was very much celebrated by the entire nation. Obviously, everybody, or a consensus of people, had to vote for him twice in order for him to get the presidency and stay there for consecutive terms. So that is not something that everybody, that yes we can, and that hope that they inspired touch more than just their ethnic or their dermal community. It touched everybody. So I say all that to say this: unfortunately, because of what they represent, she does not have the luxury of, quote unquote, standing on business in terms of, I'm gonna keep it real and not go because I can't stand, President Trump. Also, she happens to be married to a former president, a man who still holds a lot of power, even though he's no longer in office. When you are just being a wife in general, and let me just preface this by saying I am not a wife yet, but it is no secret that women, because biblically we're to be the helpmate of men, that there are sacrifices that we make in order to be helpmates. So you cannot just go on your own feelings or your own emotions or what you think is best to do in a particular situation. Now I understand that she may have had other obligations, but these folks have they do a lot of different engagements. I refuse to believe that they don't have contracts written in a way that if you know obligatory presidential events come up, that they're not able to get out of it. So I don't like the look of our first black president walking out there without our first black first lady. And I don't want us to get too stuck on the color, but on the race of it, because I think this applies to all women and men. It is an across the board thing, but because that was something that is a part of their history of being in the of being public servants, it's necessary to point that out, that he would be the only one whose wife did not show up at two occasions where everybody else showed up. I mean, there were people in that room who had good reason not to like, President Trump. There is Kamala, both Kamala and Hillary lost to him. Not to mention, Hillary is there with Bill. Now we all know that a lot of these things are for appearances, but that's besides the fact. Appearances or not, they're still fulfilling duties. So if Hillary can go and stand beside Bill Clinton, former President Bill Clinton, who got fellatio at work, okay, and not to mention that they're there again to usher in the man who beat her and took away her chance of being the first female president. And then the next one, who was trying to be the first, minority female president, took away her ability to be able to do that. If they could be there, then our former First Lady Michelle Obama could be there as well. She could be there as well. And what I would like for us to do as women when things come up is to not act on our emotion. Now, I'm just surmising. I don't know if she was emotional. I'm assuming just based on, the speculations that's been out there. Because when we get in our emotions, we make decisions that end up hurting us. When we're in our emotions, we feel so justified that we don't think about the impact or how it will look for the collective. So she has opportunities, as capable as she is. There are opportunities that she has that she never would have had she not been the former First Lady, had she not been married to a former president. And so she still has to conduct herself, in my opinion, in a way as to not only represent that well in terms of what they represent as a couple, being a supportive wife, but also for her own future endeavors. She can't come across as somebody who would just be, temperamental, or because she doesn't feel like it, she's not going to honor obligations. So that's just my feelings about it, to be, quite frank. There's also something else I've been thinking about this, but I'm gonna table that, and maybe somewhere down the line I may get an opportunity to mull on it. So listen, y'all get in the comments. Tell me what y'all think. Let me know if you think I'm tripping or if you see what I'm saying in regarding to why it's problematic that former First Lady Michelle Obama did not accompany our former President Barack Obama to the obligatory events surrounding the inauguration and the homegoing of former President Jimmy Carter. Until next time.
Please like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.